Well, let's talk to Michael Bociurkiw, Global Affairs Analyst, Senior Fellow at the Atlantic Council. Good to talk to you, Michael.
Good morning.
Now, I'd like to get your take on some of these latest developments. The NATO summit, of course, President Zelensky calling on Europe to produce more of its own defences against Russia in particular. And now we've got the announcement that 12 countries, including the UK, are to invest $50 billion over the next 10 years on a new long-range missile to protect Europe. Give us your take on some of these latest developments coming out of the NATO summit.
Sure. Well, a lot going on at once, isn't it? But I think in terms of Mr. Zelensky, time is not on his side, with Russia pounding Kyiv especially pretty much every other night. Ukraine needs Patriot missile systems, of which there's a worldwide lack of, and other defense systems to protect Ukraine. I think as Russia does not do well on the front line itself, it has doubled down on a strategy of really pounding Ukrainian cities, hoping to scare more people to leave the country, that sort of thing. But what Mr. Zelensky would be concerned about as well is the focus remaining on Ukraine. As this escalation happens in the Gulf, there's a worry that not only will crucial air defense systems be diverted to Gulf countries, allies of the United States, hence Ukraine will have a more difficult time there. One more thing here, Sally. I mean, I can't imagine if you're a leader, for example, of the UAE or Qatar, but especially UAE, where things have just started to come back or normalize a little bit. When these escalations happen, investment, tourism, and of course, oil exports are very, very difficult. We're just at a point right now, I think, these double wars are happening, but with the Iran war, where economies were starting to stabilize, including in my home country of Canada. So world leaders meeting at this summit are very, very nervous because many of them are politically vulnerable at home. And petrol prices, especially in the United States, are one of the first things voters think about at the ballot box.
Yeah. And then, of course, we were just hearing as well about the economic pressure in Russia and how things are changing in Russia as well. So what are your thoughts on how this NATO summit will end up? You know, President Trump's got a bilateral meeting with President Zelensky today. How do you see this all ending, given the elements you have just highlighted?
Sure. Well, I think there's a feeling among NATO leaders that the almost kinetic phase, if you will, of this war is coming to an end, and things are shifting more on the diplomatic front. But as your correspondent and the other interviewers indicated, the key question is whether these very impressive and targeted Ukrainian strikes on Russia, really inflicting a lot of damage to the economy, Crimea very, very badly cut off, will force Mr. Putin to the negotiating table. Look, if there's one thing leaders should realize, and I don't know if Mr. Trump does, that Mr. Putin does not react as one would expect or rationally. So I think when he is backed into a corner, we have to be prepared for the worst. And that could include the use, I'm afraid to say it, almost of tactical nuclear weapons, because this is about his survival as well. And as the previous report pointed out, it doesn't look like this economic pain will force some kind of opposition movement or people to rise up.
Yeah, OK. As always, good to pick your brains, Michael. Thanks for your time once again. Michael Bociurkiw there from the Atlantic Council.